Welcome, everybody, to tonight's frequency meditation. So, we're arriving here together after a full week of living, things unfolding, conversations landing, moments shifting quietly, and just experiences reaching their natural end. And tonight is about coming fully into the body, to this moment, settling into the center of our sphere, and then really allowing what has already finished to finish cleanly. So life continues forward without drag or the residue. So tonight there's nothing here to fix, solve, or understand conceptually. We're simply giving space for clarity to register and for continuity to show itself just naturally. So to begin, let's all take a deep breath in together, really feeling that air coming into your lungs. And just let yourself arrive exactly as you are. Breathing's already happening, the body's already present. There's no need to adjust posture or control your attention. Just notice that you're here. Notice weight. Notice contact. Notice the simple fact of being supported. And this is where coherence begins, not through effort, but through presence. So let's take another breath in. Really setting you up so you can receive with clarity. So just as awareness settles, naturally meets the body, not as an instruction, but there's a recognition. Maybe we'll start to notice sensations. We may simply notice a clearer sense of being here right now. And there's no right experience. Everybody will have their own experience based on the programs of filters that they're rendering themselves through. So nothing needs to happen. You can't get it wrong. It's all about what naturally happens what we mean when we say to come into the body. Awareness, noticing where it already lives. So just take another breath in. And from that awareness, noticing where you are in the body, from here there's an easy sense of centering. It's not tightening, it's not pulling inwards. It's just knowing where you are. Like standing in the middle of a room and feeling orientated without looking. And this is your center of your sphere, that center point in the middle of your brain, which can expand out. It can be in the middle of your body. So as we take another breath in, when awareness rests here in your center, the body organizes itself. The nervous system steadies. And attention becomes available. So this is an automatic response by just coming into our center. It's not something that we have to manufacture. It's a result. So nothing needs to be held in place. Just allow yourself to stay here with this orientation for a few moments. While you do that, we'll just make this position a little more precise. And taking another breath in, just observing how your inner environment is changing. We don't have to analyze it or judge it, just note there's a change. Maybe it's quieter. Maybe there's possibilities peeking through. And again, focusing on the center of your sphere, your center of your brain. Just here right now, not in any future moment or rehearsing past moments, just right here. And perhaps notice how something else becomes clear when you're centered like this. The body knows what is finished. Closure doesn't require thinking or reviewing or emotional work. It happens when something reaches its natural end and is allowed to settle. Often it shows up as space, like setting down something you didn't realize you've been carrying for so long. Your breathing eases, muscles soften, tension stops drifting backwards into the past. This is a clean closure, quiet, ordinary, reliable. So right now, just maybe let something come into your field that you are either ready to bring to a close or you're in the process of it. It could be a situation in your life, a relationship, work-related, moving, or it could just be a loop in the mind that is always just keeps coming back. And you're ready to let go of that now. So as we breathe in and noticing our spine, all 33 vertebrae coming right up to our sphere, our center point again. Now our attention doesn't go back timelines. How just by being centered here, how your body is aware of that. Modern neuroscience describes this as the nervous system completing a cycle and returning to regulation. So when an experience finishes fully, the system resets on its own. No participation from us, no closures from us at a mind level. There's researchers, when they have been studying stress, trauma, and recovery, when they've been studying that consistently, they observe that when the body has accurate information and enough presence, it reorganizes naturally. And that was studied long before science had words for nerves and neurons. Ancient traditions pointed to the same mechanism. Taoist teachings spoke of things returning to their source. And Buddhist teachings spoke of completion through clear seeing. Different languages, but it's the same lived truth. What really matters from this is that closure, completions, doesn't stop life. It actually frees life. When something finishes cleanly, continuity becomes effortless. The next moment just arrives without being pushed. Nature shows us constantly when a season ends, The tree doesn't resist it. Leaves fall, the ground receives them, nutrients return to the soil, and then growth prepares quietly for what comes next. Biology calls this homeostasis, the system's natural ability to maintain balance and renew itself. It's one of our superpowers, by the way. And we used to, as children, experience this all the time. We experience it simply as feeling ready to move on. But then as we got older and our programs started getting a little bit more sophisticated, closure, completing a cycle, came from more of a perspective of lack. Kind of like being a frequency hoarder. And being fragmented, that also encouraged for closures to not be free, but tied to other timelines. Attachments. Taking another breath in. So let's just stay here and just take some time to let this sense of completion register in the body without naming it or explaining it. So let's try this. So rather than searching or analyzing, just let awareness notice something very simple. It comes to you. It might be a conversation that's already finished, a situation that no longer needs your attention, a feeling that's already settled. Again, you don't need to name it or replay it. Just notice that the body already knows it's done. There's nothing to work through. There's just a quiet recognition of completion. So let the body acknowledge that finishing the same way it acknowledges exhaling after a breath. There's no effort, there's no story, there's just recognition. So as we re-enter this space together, observe that continuity is already happening. Breathing continues, awareness stays present, life keeps moving. So when you're centered in your sphere, attention becomes available for what's here now. Curiosity has room. Responsiveness returns. That's when decisions feel simpler because they're not competing with unfinished business. Nothing is being carried forward unnecessarily. So from this place, just the body often feels integrated, as if all parts are working together quietly in that perfect synchronicity, that harmony. That's when awareness feels wide enough to include whatever is present without needing to label it. It's openness with structure, presence with clarity. It's that when that moments that happen naturally when forcing drops away. Einstein spoke about the intelligence woven into nature, not as a belief, but as an observation. Modern scientists studying complex systems describe how order emerges as when interference decreases. So all of them are pointing to the same thing. When completion is allowed to complete, coherence follows. And so also when completion is not allowed to complete, there's not a clean ending. When there is different timelines still active, when there's the mental loops, it keeps rehearsing over and over again, then that completion isn't allowed to complete. So that's why there isn't coherence. And we prolong the story and recreate the story. Taking another breath in. So let's just let the body and awareness settle together. We do that by coming into our sphere, being present here, breathing. So just bringing our attention back to the sphere. Just bringing it very simply into the body. Not by searching, not by imagining, just by noticing. Noticing where you are sitting or standing. Feel the weight of the body. Feel where the body meets the floor or the chair. Again, this is how coherence starts, by being here instead of elsewhere. So let's go right through it so we can take you to that space. So taking a breath in and letting that awareness settle into the middle of you, not your head, not your chest, not your stomach. That place where you feel most steady and balanced, like standing in the middle of your own space. And you don't have to find it exactly. Just notice when the body feels organized rather than scattered. That's the center of your sphere. And it doesn't have to be, for those of you who are comfortable with a reference point in space and time, it doesn't have to be in the center of your brain. In fact, eventually you'll all come to the fact that it's in the center of your body, your whole body, not just a body part. And taking a breath in. And when the awareness rests here in your sphere, the body naturally lines itself up. It's a consequence that I mentioned. It's not something you have to organize or do or vision or have an intention about. Just by bringing, which what we can all do, bringing awareness to our center, the body then naturally comes in with alignment. And you'll observe it. If you haven't already, you'll find that breathing finds its own rhythms. Your muscles stop adjusting. Attention doesn't need to jump around. So from this centered place, as you breathe in, maybe you can notice how awareness feels different, such as it's not stretched forward into the future, and it's not pulled back into the past. It's right here. It's like standing still while the world moves around you, which is the place of empowerment, is when you stand in your position and realities revolve around you instead of you revolving around other realities. As we take a breath in. So instead, standing still while the world moves around you, this is coherence. It's not a special state. It's just a system being where it actually is. And when awareness is here, the body knows what is finished and what is current. So let's try this with you. As you breathe in, just bring to your mind something very simple without effort, not a big life story, just something small that's already done. Maybe a conversation that's over, a moment that's passed, something that's just you can bring to your awareness that's done. You don't need to think about it, just notice that it's complete. Notice how the body already treats it as finished. There's nothing to add, nothing to fix. And as you breathe in, we're just going to let the body register that completion fully. It's pretty well the same mechanics as the same way it registers putting something down after carrying it. So let's just clear those pathways. So the body can register this, and you receive that awareness. Staying in our sphere. And just as that finishing settles, notice what happens next. Nothing dramatic. Breathing continues, awareness stays present. The body doesn't collapse or drift. It just stays upright and available. And this is continuity. Life continuing from a place that isn't cluttered. So we can, when we bring these closures and they're complete and it's clean, our space isn't cluttered. We're not negotiating with different timelines. We're here. And that's when you notice how movement feels, not physical movement, inner movement. That's when our attention can go somewhere without strain. Your awareness can rest, and it's without effort. And this is what coherence feels like in real terms. Things work together instead of pulling in different directions. A lot of people are very fragmented. But with coherence, everything is working together. And scientists describe this as systems aligning when information is clear. It's a nervous system that settles because it's no longer compensating for unfinished signals. And that's, as I mentioned before, children feel it as being ready for what's next. So by bringing this awareness to you about how completion cycles, ending them, completing them, that it's not something that will make you feel better. It's actually a positioning so you can, in fact, receive a clear transmission from that wholer version of you, whether you call it higher self, spirit, God, nature, doesn't matter. And just notice something else right now. The coherence doesn't stay trapped inside you. When you're centered like this, the space around you feels calmer too. And again, it's not because you're doing anything, but because coherence spreads. Nervous systems respond to each other. So a settled system invites settling. This is how shared space organizes itself. It's quietly. It's without instruction. It's also how shared space disorganizes itself. When it's not coherent. So we're not holding a state. We're not maintaining focus. We're just staying where we are in the body, in the center of our sphere, present to what's here. And that is enough. And even as we conclude this session, our time together, nothing needs to shut down or switch off. Completion doesn't mean stopping, it means being clear. Continuity carries you forward naturally to that next moment. You remain centered, you remain embodied. Awareness stays available. And this is something you return to again and again. We've been so programmed that to work really hard or study really hard and get a degree or come to retirement. So we do something really hard with a lot of effort and then we're done. But not with keeping centered, coherent, being aware. Or even, let's go even more clear. Being connected with a clear transmission from that wholer version of you into this partial version of us in density. That's only created in this moment. It's only by returning to it again and again in the moment that we receive this clear transmission. And it's not by effort we have to do this. It's again by remembering where you are in space and time, in this moment, in your sphere. And the body knows, and the system knows. And it's the body and the system that organizes this reality around you. And that order is based on how coherent we are. Until the time comes that this coherence becomes very ordinary and usable, the way it's meant to. So you can stay here, focusing on the sphere, bringing to mind anything that is maybe there could have been a completion a long time ago, but there's been resistance, or you're on the verge of a release. Whatever it is, let it come in, come centered, Let the coherence, reorganize. We don't have to do that. And with that, I'll see everybody next Sunday.